In this video, we will finish the application and we're going to create the bottom navigation and the news navigator screen. And before that, we want to go to the details screen and we want to create a view model for that. So let's go to the detail here. Let's create details view model. Let's extend it from view model and let's add health view model and inject our news use cases. Okay, so in here we want to have something called side effect. And let's make this by mutable state of, and let's actually pass a string here. And for now, let's pass null. Let's make this nullable and pass null in here. Now let's import set and get for this one. And we want to make this private set so we can just change it from the view model. Okay, now we can have function on event. We can get the event here, which is a details event. And we can check when the event is upsert or delete. Do we have that event? No, we don't. Actually, I want to change this event to, let me just click here, refactor, rename. Let me change this one to upsert delete article. So this event will basically save or update or delete the article. And we want to have another event here for removing the side effect. And let's extend from details event. Now in here we want to check if we have upsert delete article. So in here we want to first get the article. Use cases dot get article. We don't have a function or we don't have a use case to get the article. We have not created that. Let's do that. Let's go to the news DAO and let's have a function here that will get the article by its primary key, which is the URL. So let's create a query, or I'm going to copy this one, select all from article where URL equals to the past URL. Now let's create a suspend function here, get article. We want to pass the URL, which is string, and we return an article, and that article might be null. Now let's just create a use case for this one. So inside the domain layer, use cases, news, let's create select article. I'm gonna go to upsert article, copy this part. In the select article, I'll paste it. And in here we return an article which is nullable, and we can say get article. We need to get the URL of that, which is string. URL, we pass that in here. We also wanna return that, and let's go to the app module real quick to provide that. So in here, first we want to add it into the news use cases. Select article. And let's get back here. Let's add the select article in here. And let's pass the news down. So we basically need this one to determine if we should delete or insert the article, because you know, the same button or the same icon will do the same jobs. So now we want to get that article. If it's null, then we know that we should insert that article. If it's not null, then we know we should delete it. Now let's call get article or select article. In here we want to pass the article URL. We can say for that we also want to pass that in here. So we want to change this to data class, and we want to pass this article here. And let's get back to the view model and let's pass the article URL. We want to launch this inside the view model scope because this is suspend function. And here, as we said, we can check if this article is null, then we know we need to insert it. So we can say upsert article, and we can send the article. Else, we need to delete this article. Let's create these two functions. So in here we can say news use cases dot upsert article, and we can pass the article. And let's also make the suspend function. Then we need to inform the UI that we have inserted a new article. We can say side effect equals to article inserted or article saved. Now delete article. Let's do the same. So I'm gonna copy this part, and instead I will call delete article. Let's make the suspend function, and here I will say article deleted. Now let's check for the other event we have is details event dot remove side effect. In here we basically wanna say side effect equals to null. And that's it for this view model. Now let's go to the details screen. And let's go up here, and in the upsert delete article, we need to pass the article, and that's it. Now let's close all of this, and in the presentation layer, let's create a new package, call this news navigator. Let's create components package here. And now we are going to create our news bottom navigation. So let's right click, news bottom navigation, select file. Let's create composable function. So for the parameters, we want the items, which is a list of, we want to create a data class for this. So let's do that. Let's call this bottom navigation item. And for each item in our bottom navigation, it has an image and a text or an icon, not an image. So drawable resource, icon, integer, and the text, which is a string. Now we can pass a list of that items, and then we want to know if this item is selected, and here this would be an integer, and on item click we will send the index that was clicked. So here we'll send the integer. Okay, now we can say navigation bar, and let's pass a modifier. Let's add the container color here to background. And let's add the tonal elevation to 10 dB. Now we can have a loop for all of our items. So for each, or I will call for each indexed, because we're gonna use the item. Here we get the index and the item. So for each one, we will create a navigation bar item. So this would be selected if the index equals to the selected index, or the selected like that. On a click, we're going to call on item click, and we're going to send the index. So the icon here, let's design that. That would be a column. Let's add horizontal alignment to center. Let's import that. So in here, we'll create an icon. The icon is from painter resource item.icon. The content description here, let's pass null. Let's add a size. And let's make this icon size. And here, let's add spacer. Modifier.height, extra small padding 2. This one. And then we want to have the text. The text here would be item.text, and the style is label small. Now let's just create a preview function to preview this. And now let's change the colors here. So colors, we can say navigation bar item defaults colors, and here we wanna change the selected icon color. That would be primary. We wanna also select, and the selected text color, the same thing would be primary. Unselected icon color, this one would be color resource body. Same thing for the unselected text. And we also want to add the indicator color to the same color with the background, because we don't want to have the indicator, so we just match it with the background color. Okay, now let's create preview function to see that. So for the items, I'm gonna create the list of the items we have. The selected item, I will just pass 0 and when you click, and now we can go to split mode to see the bottom navigation. And here you go, this is our bottom navigation. Now we can go create our news navigator screen. So right click and new Kotlin file, and let's call this news navigator. So now let's create the bottom navigation items. We can say bottom navigation items equals remember, and we can just go back here. We can copy the same ones. Then we want to have the nav controller, because here we're also going to have another nav graph. So we basically have two nav graphs in this application, one for the onboarding and splash screens, and the other one is for the news navigator and for the bottom navigation screens. So let's have nav controller, remember nav controller, and now we can have our scaffold. So if you don't know what a scaffold is, it's just one of the material theme components that divide your screens into parts, like the top up bar, the bottom navigation bar, and the navigation rail. So this is very useful. Let's use scaffold. Let's add the experimental annotation. Let's add modifier to fill the max size. And here with the scaffold, as I said, you can add bottom bar like this. And we can just pass the news bottom navigation. So for the items, we'll pass bottom navigation items. For the selected item, we have not created that yet. So we're gonna create it now. Let's go here. So for me, I maintain this state by having a listener on our backstack state. So I'll just look at the last one in the stack and I will update the state of the selected screen based on that. Let's do that. Let's say val backstack state equals to navcontroller.current backstack interstate.value. So this is just a state. Now we can just create the selected item here by remember savable. So we want just to save this from configuration changes, mutable state of initially we want to land on the home screen. Let's import set and get for this. Then in here we can say selected item equals to when backstack state dot destination dot route. Let's add the question marks in here for null safety, and here if that route is the home screen route, then we make this 0. If that search screen route, we make this 1. And if that bookmark screen route, we make that 2. Else we make this 0. This is not a possible option, but we need to add it. Now we can pass the selected in here, and on item click, in here we get the index. So in here I want to create a helper function that's called navigate to tab. And here we will receive the nav controller, and we'll receive the route, which is just string. In here we'll call navcontroller.navigate. We will navigate to route and open curly brackets, and in here every time we navigate to tab, we basically want to pop the back stack until we reach the home screen. So let's do that. We can say navcontroller.graph.startDestination. We want to get the start destination route. If that's not null, then we can say pop up to the, let's call this home screen. So that would be the home screen, and we want to pop up to that home screen. And we also want to save the state, so this is very important. And we also want to restore the state. And we want to make this launch single top. So if we try to so let's say you are in the home screen and you click on that multiple times, that wouldn't create any new instances of your screen. So it will just launch the same screen. This is very important in our case. Now we can have a when check. When the index is 0, then we want to navigate to the home screen. So we can say navigate to tab. And here we want to pass the nav controller and the route, which is home screen. If this one, we want to navigate to the, we can just copy this. And we can replace this with search. If this is to, space that, and we want to navigate to the bookmark screen. Now in here, we want to calculate the bottom padding, which would be the bottom navigation padding in our case. So it calculate bottom padding. And now we can just call navhost. We can pass a nav controller, and the start destination here would be our home screen. And here let's also add a modifier. And from the bottom, we need to add the bottom padding. So again, the bottom padding here would be this padding, the padding of our, the height of our nose bottom navigation. Okay, now let's create a composable function here. Okay, now let's create a composable function here. Route is route home screen. Let's get the view model. And now let's get the articles. Finally, let's call home screen. Let's send the articles and navigate here. Let's actually put that into new line. So from the home screen, there are two options. The first one is to navigate to the search screen by clicking on the search bar, and the second one is to navigate to the details screen. And to discriminate between these, let's edit on the home screen. Let's say would be navigate to search. We can remove this, and let's create another one, navigate to details. And here we will send the article. Now let's go here, let's change this. So in the search bar, we want to navigate to search. And in here, we want to navigate to details. And we will send the article. Now let's get back here. Let's remove this. Let's call navigate to search. So in here, we can call navigate to tab. We can send the nav controller, and we can send the route here would be route.searchScreen.route. And we also have navigate to details. So in here, we get the article. And we're also gonna create a helper function that helps us to navigate to our details. So let's create that private function, and I'm gonna also make this one private. Navigate to details. In here, we'll get the nav controller, and we're going to get the article, which is just an article. So this one is a little bit different because when we want to go to the detail screen, we actually want to get the article object with us. How we can do that? Well, if you want to pass data in a composed navigation system, you can actually pass primitive data types like strings, integers, booleans, that type of stuff. But what if we want to pass an object? Well, there's one way to do that using the backstack entry. So we can say navcontroller dot current backstack entry, and now we can access the save state handle, and we can call set. In here we pass the key, which is an article, and we pass the object, which is an article. But we also want to make this personalized. So let's go here. Let's annotate this with personalize. And let's also extend from parsable or implement the parsable interface. This one. And same thing, we want to make the source class as well parsable, personalize, and extend from parsable. And now we can just pass objects using this backstack entry. Now we can say navigate or now we can say navcontroller.navigate. We want to navigate to this route, which is the detail screen route. Now we can say navigate to details. We can pass a nav controller, and we can pass the article here. Now let's create another composable here for the search screen. Route would be route.searchScreen.route. And let's get the view model for the search screen. Let's get the state. And let's add our search screen. Let's pass the state. On event, we can call view model event navigate. Here I would also change the name of this to navigate to details. And we can remove this. Now let's go back. Let's go down here and remove this route. Get back to our news navigator, and we can call navigate to details. So in here we need to pass the nav controller, and we need to pass the article. I think let's get back here and let's pass the article. I'm sorry for these changes, but I just figured out this way. I think it's just a better way to do it. And now let's get back here. Let's pass the article. Now we want to have another one for the details screen. So composable route is our route.detailscreen.route. And let's get the view model for that detail screen. Okay, so now how can we get the article object? So as you can see, now we passed it in the current backstack, but when we get to this detail screen, now we are in another backstack entry. So how we can get the previous one? We can do that with navcontroller dot previous backstack entry. We make a null check, we access the saved state handle, and we can get our article, get article. This could be null, and the key here is article. I'm gonna copy paste that, and we make a null check here. So here we get the article, and here we can just call the detail screen. We can pass the article, event we can call view model on event, and here navigate up we can call nav controller dot navigate up. One thing we want to do later here is the side effect, so I'm going to create to do comment handle side effect. Now in here we want to create another composable function for the last screen we have, which is the bookmark screen. We can say view model, bookmark view model, health view model. We get the state. And finally, we can call bookmark screen state. We pass that state. Navigate, I will just change the name to navigate to details. Let's remove this and let's send our article. Let's just get it in here. And here I would just get article here and navigate to article or to details. Nav controller is nav controller and article we pass that. Okay, so that is it for our news navigator. There is still some things we need to handle, but let's just go to the nav graph to see our application, and let's call news navigator in here, and let's launch the application. Okay, here you go. So as you can see, this is the bottom navigation, and let's try to click on search. As you can see, the color and everything changes. Let's try to search sports. Search. And now let's get back here to see if we are able to save the state. Seems like not. Let's get back to search. Okay, we saved the state of search. How about home? So the scrolling is not saved in our home screen. Okay, now it's saved. I think I was not right about that. By the way, for this new sticker, I didn't find any way to save it, to save the state of this new sticker. So if you guys just figure out a way, just share it with me. Or if I figure out any ways in the future, I'll just make a video about that. But for now, let's just keep browsing our app. Let's go to the bookmark screen, and here you go. This is the article. Now, let's try to click. And as you can see, this is the details. Let's save this. Let's save this here. And let's get back to the bookmark. As you can see, we got that in here. And we could have just reversed this. We should reverse this. So we want to do that in a little bit. But for now, as you can see, if we are in the details screen, this bottom navigation should be hidden, and that's what we're gonna do next. So let's go to the news navigator, and we can have a state for that. And I will call this val is bottom bar visible. We will call remember. The key here would be the backstack state. And this would be visible if we are in the home or search or bookmark screen. We can just say this destination route, if that's equal to route.home screen.route, or let's copy paste if this equal to search, or if it's equal to bookmark. Now in here we can say if bottom is bottom visible, then we show this bottom navigation. If it's not, we hide it. Let's check that. Let's click on this one. As you can see, the bottom navigation is gone. If we get back here, the bottom navigation is visible. And one thing is with this selected item, I think we can also call remember, and we can make a key here just because this is just a side effect. The key would be the backstack state, and if we take this block of code and place it in here. Let's see if that's gonna work. Okay, so let's launch the app. Let's see. Okay, this works. And what we else need to do with this app? Yeah, so the side effect in the details screen, as you can see, when we click, not here, but when we click on the bookmark, we got a crash now. I don't know why. Let's see. Not null constraints. I think the author here was null, and that's why we got this crash. So if we wanna check, so if we wanna fix that, we can go to the article here and we can make this author nullable. Now this will actually work, but also you need just to update the version of your database. So let's go to news database and let's make the version here is 2. Let's launch the app again. Let's try to save. Okay, now as you can see, when we saved that article, we did not get any toast message. So how we can get a toast message? Well, by the side effect. So let's go to the news navigator. And in here, we can just handle the side effect. We can say view model dot side effect if the side effect, so we can say if view model dot side effect does not equal to null, then we just want to show a toast message local context dot current we can say view model dot side effect. After we show that toast message, we want to remove that side effect, so we can say view model dot on event, and we can send details event, and we want to remove that side effect. Now let's launch the app to see our side effect. So let's try to get in here, click on here. As you can see, article saved. Now if we click again, we should get article deleted. That works perfectly fine. So the last thing I want to handle is this bookmark list. We want to reverse that. Okay, now inside the domain layer, we can do that from the repository, but one thing, we have not created the functions in the repository. We just use the DAO in the use cases. Well, that's messed up. I'll fix that real quick. I'm sorry for this. So let's do that. Let's just create the functions in the repository. I was just on hurry, that's why I just forgot about that. So abstract article. I know this video is long, but yeah, we just need to finish this. And let's also have delete article. We also want to have get articles or select articles. And one more to select one article. And we want to send the URL, which is a string. Okay, now let's go to the data layer and let's implement this functions. And here, let's just get the news DAO. And let's just call newsDAO.upsert on newsDAO.upsert as the article. In here, newsDAO.delete. In here, we return newsDAO.select or get articles. And here newsDAO dot get article. Now here in get articles, we can say on each, and we can reverse that. Okay, now in our use cases, we're going to use this repository to deal with our database instead of our DAO. So let's go to the domain layer. Starting with the upsert here, let's get the news repository, and we call news repository instead of news DAO. Upsert article. Let's go to select here. We call news repository. Select articles. Select articles, same thing. So we just want to replace these. And we also have delete article. Now let's go to the app module. And in here, we just want to pass the news repository. And for this repository, we want the news DAO and send it here. And that is it. Let's launch the app. So we are getting the news here. Let's go to the bookmark. Here you go. Let's try to add a new one like this one. Here's the side effect. Get back. Let's get back to the bookmark. Why is this not reversed? I don't know. I'm not sure why is not this reversing the list. Let's try to do it from the view model. So let's go to the bookmark view model. And here, let's reverse this. Let's launch and let's preview that. And here you go. Now it's reversed. I'm not sure why it's not reversing on here. Like we apply on each and we reverse that. So that is it for this playlist. I know this video was very long, but yeah, I just wanted to finish it in this video, and I hope you liked my playlist. If you did, then you will enjoy my next courses and my next playlist. So make sure to subscribe and join my Discord server. We have a small community in there for our channel. So thank you for watching this playlist and catch you in another one.